Welcome back to Temporal Directive, the Star Trek fan podcast, rewatching the entire franchise in chronological order. I'm Gary.
And I'm Tom.
And this week, we're watching Star Trek Enterprise's Vox Sola. Star Trek, the ultimate franchise. These are the podcasts of the Wakefield brothers. Their 16-year mission to watch every production, to seek out life lessons and new inspirations, to boldly watch like most fans have watched before.
Weird name.
Hey Tom, how's your week been?
Very exciting. I've been very, very thrilled.
You need to find something to do because you have the same response every week.
I'm sure I do. At the moment, everything's just very, very dull.
You need a new hobby.
I need a job. I
need
need
a
a job.
job.
Yeah, I need a job. That's what I need. Although I do have an interview.
Ooh,
Yeah.
where at?
Yeah, Specsavers.
Okay,
Yeah, on Thursday. I've got an interview, so
fantastic.
fingers crossed.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it should be good.
Was that because you wanted a staff discount? Or?
Yeah, that's right. Free glasses, that's it.
Excellent. Well, I'll be sure to come and get my new glasses from you. I mean, me to go and get an eye test for about, 3 years.
Probably a good idea.
Probably should. Yeah.
You've had a busy week.
I have had a busy week.
Yeah.
It's, a lot of travel this week. A couple of staff meetings in Hobart, workshops, defensive driving course, and a couple of hours away. It's just been a really big week.
Yeah.
Hence why our last episode was delayed.
Yeah.
But by the time you're hearing this, hopefully we've caught up. Hopefully this one goes out on time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been busy. Good, but busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much how my whole year has felt.
Just a non-stop busyness.
Non-stop busyness. So I'm
opposite.
looking forward to having some downtime over the Christmas break. So
Yeah.
I think I work up to Christmas Eve. I think I'm still working.
Yep.
And then Christmas Day, like the Northwest Pride, the community group I run,
yeah.
we do our Christmas Day lunch
Yeah.
for any orphans that don't have anywhere else to go for Christmas Day. And then I've got a couple of weeks off, so I don't go back to work till the 13th.
Oh, that's all right.
So
That's a pretty good break, isn't it? A
yeah,
couple of
thank
weeks
goodness.
between.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
I'll probably just
Take a breather.
be in a coma for those 2 weeks. I'm going to hibernate like a bear in the middle of summer.
So you're not doing any Northwest Pride events through that as well?
No, nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing's
No.
on.
Good.
Because it's been a big year. Northwest Pride is also celebrating its 5 years this December.
Wow.
So it's been a busy 5 years for all of us.
That's been really quick, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting, though.
Yeah.
We've done some exciting stuff. Did you know we're on Netflix now?
Yes, I did actually.
Yeah. So we did a show a few years ago with Miriam Margolyes called Australia Unmasked. So if anyone's listening and wants to see what I look like, yeah, we did a show called Australia Unmasked that has recently been uploaded to Netflix after being on the ABC and BBC first. But yeah, it went online, I think only maybe a week ago on
It
Netflix.
was a couple of weeks, I think.
And yeah, I never thought I'd be on Netflix. Never thought you'd be able to get onto Netflix and see my face.
Yeah.
Like, that's really disturbing.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this week's episode.
Alrighty.
This week's episode is called Vox Sola. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It's Latin, and it means lone voice. Story by Rick Berman, Brannon Braga, and Fred Decker. Teleplay by Fred Decker. Directed by Balana, Roxanne Dawson. Back for another episode of Enterprise. The last episode she directed was the Andorian incident, which was really good. So I'm hoping this one follows suit. The original air date for this episode was May the 1st, 2002. And the IMDb synopsis reads: A fibrous, web-like alien creature comes aboard the ship, and several of the crew become entangled in it, including Archer and Trip. And it seems Hoshi is the only one who can try to communicate with the creature.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually not a bad description of an episode.
Do you remember this episode at all?
No, I don't.
No, because we're beyond the point that you've
Yeah.
ever watched, right?
Yeah, yeah.
From here on out, you've never seen it.
No,
Okay.
no, I would have cut off. And if I have seen it, it would have been like you might have been
A
watching
specific episode.
Yeah, that's it. A specific or something that's just been on and I've happened to glimpse it, sort of.
Yeah,
thing.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really remember how this episode plays out. I do remember the like web things and thinking this is a bit weird, but but yeah, I don't remember how the episode plays out. So yeah, it'd be good to rewatch it. Cool, let's go do it.
Alrighty.
And we're back from watching Star Trek Enterprise's Vox Sola. What do you think? First impressions?
I actually didn't mind it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, this felt like a proper Star Trek episode.
Yeah, it was really good, right? With the alien species they had to try to communicate with, and the bit of tension on the ship, and the bit of conflict between the actual crew members. It was actually pretty good. I really enjoyed it.
Same. Couple of things.
Yeah. As always.
How the fuck does Reed figure out force fields just in an hour when he said that Starfleet have been working on it for 5 years? A team of experts have been working on it for 5 years. And he's like, just let me download the schematics and I'll get it sorted in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's bullshit. Yeah. They got it 60% of the way there, but I could get it the next 40.
What are you, fucking MacGyver?
Yeah, that's
You
right.
space MacGyver?
Yeah. Sorry. No. It just was bullshit.
And why does the
Absolute
Enterprise
bullshit.
have to create everything?
Yeah, like it shouldn't. They should. He should have been able to say, "We just got the specifications for them, and we haven't implemented them yet. But I know we've got them
I
there.
can
We
probably
can put
rig
them
it up."
together.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can rig that up because I've got the specifications, but we haven't implemented it.
Yeah.
That would have been better.
Yes.
Because it's like it's all been done.
Yes.
Easy.
They send us the schematics.
Yeah,
We just haven't had the chance to install it.
Yeah.
Let me do that.
exactly. But no, he had to be the one to perfect it. What the fuck?
Because when a hero comes along.
Fuck off.
But anyway, that's a pretty small criticism, I guess, for what it was a pretty good episode.
Yeah.
I especially liked the scene with Reed and Dr. Phlox arguing about
Yeah.
whether to torture the alien or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like how the alien in that argument is being more humane than the human. Like-
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, Phlox is just proves why he's such a good character.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I feel like he doesn't get enough screen time
I agree.
because he's such an interesting character that's excited about exploration and knows his shit, and yet we don't really spend that much time with him.
I know, it's disappointing. And he does it so well, too. The
Yeah.
actor's just so, perfectly placed for that character. It's
Yeah, he's
just
good.
brilliant. Yeah.
All right, let's get into it.
All right.
We open on a shot of the Enterprise with a docked ship, and they are being visited by the Cretaceans, and we see inside, and the Cretaceans are quite angry, and they're storming off the ship, basically,
Yeah.
with Archer and the crew following, like, what did we do? Like, I don't understand what happened.
And they are pissed.
And they seem very angry. The only thing they kind of get out is you eat like you mate is kind of the only thing that Hoshi manages to translate before they leave and depart. As the Cretaceans undock to fly away, we see this web-like organism, kind of like a white venom.
Yeah, that's it. That's what you called it.
Yeah, crawling off the hull of the Cretacean ship into the air lock
Yeah.
on the Enterprise.
Just in time.
Yeah, sneaks on board. And then we skip the credits and we cut to the bridge, and Hoshi's there sulking. And she hears a noise, but no one else hears it, including T'Pol, who should have extra sensitive
Yeah.
hearing, but that's okay. And then Trip comes out and asks about the captain's mood. And Paul says, maybe now's not the best time. And he says, well, I think I'll just take my chances. So he goes into the ready room and the captain's sulking.
Everyone's just
sulking.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
One bad interaction with someone and they're all just crying about it.
I know. Like, not everything can be perfect.
No,
like,
that's right. You're going to have this happen.
Exactly.
You know?
So anyway, there's some back and forth there, but Trip manages to get Archer in a bit of a better mood, saying that he's got the water polo finals freshly transmitted from Earth.
Yeah. How boring. I mean, how exciting. Yeah.
That's so fucking boring. Nothing against water polo. Any sport, I would have said how fucking boring.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Like, no. Just no.
No. Needs to be the latest Star Trek episode.
That would be pretty meta. We cut to Porthos barking, and he's barking up, looking upwards, and the camera pans into the ceiling, and we see that venom-like webby thing from earlier in the tubes,
moving along
in the Jeffries
vents,
tubes or vents or whatever.
Vent.
Yeah, there you go, vents. Then we cut to the mess hall, and Reed, Travis, and Hoshi are eating. And really, Reed and Travis are talking, and they're talking a bit about the Cretaceans and what they might have done to offend them and stuff. But Hoshi's kind of shut down. She's still kind of sulky.
In her own head.
Yeah. And they're talking about movie night, and Travis convinces Reed to go and watch this French film.
Because it's got all explosions in it.
Of course.
Explodey, explodey, and that's definitely Reed's thing.
That's Reed's personality.
Yeah.
Reed is explosions. Travis is baby boomer.
Yeah.
That's their whole character dynamic. But Hoshi leaves, and we see her in the hallway, and she hears a noise in the wall. She kind of puts her ear up against the wall, and behind the wall, we see the
white venom.
White venom crawling around and making noise in there as well. Then we cut to engineering, and there's two people that I don't think we've ever seen before.
No.
And I don't think I caught their names. Kelly and some guy. He's just some guy. Kelly and some guy.
Yeah.
And she's up at the warp core doing some stuff, and she says that there's been some power outage in D-Deck in the cargo bay, and that he should go and fix it.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm going to movie night.
Yeah.
So you should just come to movie night and leave it for the night crew. It's probably just a blown relay. It'll, leave it for the night crew. And she says, well, if it's only a blown relay, it will only take you 10 minutes to fix it.
Yeah.
So go and do it.
I'm with him. I don't want to miss the start of the movie.
No, that's right.
Like, ruin the whole fucking thing.
Exactly. So he leaves to go and do that. We cut to movie night, and Reed and Travis are in the audience with their tray of popcorn, which looked weird to me. I don't know why it looked weird, but it's like, where are the buckets?
Yeah.
Come on, get a box. Was there not a themed box you could download? But they go to start the movie, but instead of the actual film playing, we get internal cameras, sort of like a shot of sickbay and a shot of the bridge and whatever else. So Reed goes to see what's going on and then calls up to the bridge to say, we've got some issues. There's supposed to be a movie. We're seeing you. So either sing or dance or figure it out.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Archer and Trip, and they're watching the water polo, drinking beer. It looks like a very standard definition transmission.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Yeah.
It's like
old school.
But that's okay. That's fine.
The water polo team can't afford a good camera.
Apparently they don't have HD.
It's clearly a public school.
Must be. We cut to the cargo bay on D-Deck, and that some guy is walking in.
Yeah.
And he's there to do his repairs, obviously, but he sees this like goop everywhere.
Yeah.
And he's sort of looking around with his torch, and he sees a little tail I guess it looked like a tail to me anyway at the time.
It did at the time, yeah.
And so he sort of follows that to see where it's going. And then he sees the giant web. And because communications are down, he gets his communicator out of his pocket and he opens it and hails someone and calls down to engineering. And we cut to engineering and we see Kelly answering the call, but there's no one there. No one's responding. And then we cut back to water polo.
Yeah.
Because,
why not?
Why not? Trip and Archer are
yelling at the screen.
And they're talking about the teams and just, it's sports block.
Yeah. Sports. Yada, yada, yada.
Yep. And then we cut to Kelly entering the cargo bay, trying to find some guy. And she kind of calls out. And then we cut back to water polo for some more water polo
trivia
lessons.
crap. Yeah.
So exciting. But then they get a call from Kelly, who says that she's in the cargo bay and there's some sort of life form here. And she says it's got some guy.
Yeah, some guy's caught there.
And then it goes quiet and cuts off. And then we cut to commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did learn that the water polo pools are, deep enough that no one can touch the bottom.
Whoop-de-doo, Basil.
I know. It's very exciting.
So fascinating. Fucking hell.
I don't know how deep that is.
Well, does it depend on the? Does it depend
on the height of the people?
Yeah.
Right?
Do they take everyone's heights and then decide how deep the pool's going to be?
That's right. I mean, what if it's like 7 foot and then there's a 7.5 foot guy? I mean, do you move it to another facility that's got an 8 foot deep pool?
You'll have to. That's the rules according to the captain. I don't even know who actually cares.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there are people out there who do. And
I'm sure they do. But do you reckon they're watching Star Trek Enterprise? I don't reckon.
No.
I mean, maybe they are. Baseball was a big thing in Deep Space Nine, and that's because one of the producers was a massive baseball fan.
Yeah. Well, you see, I think baseball would be the only sport that I would actually be interested in going and sitting and watching.
Yawn.
At least there's shit going on in baseball. I don't know. I've never actually watched it, but at least there's like people standing on bases and things going on. Like there might be something
so interesting.
Well, there might be something interesting. I've never seen one, but it just sounds more interesting than like cricket or football or fucking water polo or any of the other things I can think of.
All of it sounds boring. It's all the same. All the same.
Right, whack the ball.
I understand why people want to play sports.
Yeah, I get that completely.
I just don't understand why people would want to watch sports.
No, I don't get it.
But
and I hate when people... Oh, well, I'll just go on a rant if I start.
Yep, let's not. Let's keep moving. Keep moving. Come on. Stay focused. We come back from commercial and Archer, Trip, Reed and some random security guy entering the cargo bay. Reed goes in first with his flashlights and phasers set to stun, ready to go.
Yeah.
And Trip finds Callie wrapped up in glad wrap.
Yeah, it's totally glad wrap. It's just glad wrap and lube.
Glad wrap and... Did you say lube?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah. It could be that. It could be clag.
Could be clag. It's probably a mix of both.
It could be some other things that I won't get into because it's gross. So Reed approaches, scanning, and Kelly's alive. They find some guy, and then decide they need to get out, like they need to leave. So they all start to back up, and this tendril grabs Archer and starts dragging him away. Trip can't deal with Archer being in trouble because he loves him. Yeah. So he tries to grab him, and he gets caught as well, and they get dragged off together. And
they live happily ever after.
Inside a tendril. Anyway, Trip and Archer get caught by this thing, as does the other security guy, and Reed is really the only one that gets out.
Yeah. He did look genuinely scared in that moment, though.
He did. We cut to the bridge, and they're in the little briefing bit at the back, and it's T'Pol and Hoshi and Reed, and they're all talking about what's going on, and T'Pol says something about the creature may not be hostile, and Reed just can't understand why she would even think that.
Yeah,
Clearly, it's hostile. Look what it's doing.
How could you say it? It's taking our crew members. Like, of course it is. Fucking
So, just more evidence that this crew is clearly the first crew out there because fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
just because it may appear hostile doesn't mean it is hostile.
Exactly. Ridiculous.
Like Psychology 101, right?
Yeah.
Anyway. So they're talking about what they might be able to do.
Yeah.
T'Pol calls Phlox for some information and he says he's about to do the examination if they want to watch. So they turn the camera on and they watch it on the screen, and he says that this tendril that they captured a little piece that had been caught off by the door.
And Reed left.
Yep. And he says that it's alive. It's still alive even though it's been severed from the rest of the entity.
Similar to common earthworms and
which I don't think is true.
Else.
Which I don't think is true.
I don't think it is either. It's just a common misconception about earthworms.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Error. Hoshi wants to try to talk to it. If it's alive, we should be able to communicate with it. And those distortions she was picking up earlier, that noise she was hearing when she was on the bridge, might be a way that it communicates.
Yeah, because it's similar to... what was it?
She said some of the wavelengths or something were similar to Andorian dialects or something, she said. But, yeah. They decide that they don't have time for that because it could take days to figure out their language and to figure out how to communicate, and we don't have time. Phlox says that it may be photosensitive and that light may work to stun the creature. And so T'Pol orders Reed to assemble some little
EM transmitters.
EM devices, yeah. We cut to the cargo bay and the hostages are all hanging in their webs, chilling out, being all gross in their glad wrap.
Yeah, in their glad wrap and grossness. Yeah, talking about movie night because that guy was like, I really wanted to see that movie. And then he spoke the name in French and Captain said, I'll make sure we move it to next week.
Yep.
Yeah.
And while they're talking, we see Reed and another security officer enter, and they have these emitters that look like cameras.
Yeah.
And they play around with the little settings and then they shoot. And they're monitoring things on the bridge, and the hostages inside the web start reacting as well. So they're like, pain. And Phlox is on the bridge and he says, you need to shut it off. Shut it off.
Yeah. It's going bad.
Apparently I was turning that into a musical.
Yeah.
And this is where Phlox realizes that they're all sharing a nervous system, that they're being assimilated into the bigger
entity,
organism.
Yeah.
They're becoming part of this organism. While we're still on the bridge, the doctor says that the rate of symbiosis is increasing and that we need to figure out how to talk to this entity before it gets too late because they're running out of time.
Yeah.
We cut to sick bay. Phlox is explaining again how they're being assimilated. So this was after commercial. So he's showing them how it's working.
Yeah.
And that they're being assimilated. T'Pol and Reed leave the sick bay and go into the hallway. And Reed says that he's downloaded some EM force field schematics that Starfleet's been working on for about 5 years, and that he's got it down to about 60% functional, but he thinks he can, fix that
in 2 minutes
in less time than it takes Hoshi to learn the language.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So, yeah, it seems a bit dumb to me, but she says, okay, do it quickly. Of course, he's a MacGyver.
Yeah.
He's Space MacGyver. He'll get it sorted.
Yeah, that's fine. 5 years.
You just need an EM transmitter and a paperclip and some chewing gum.
And a rubber band. You'll be fine. Maybe a AA battery.
We cut to T'Pol arriving on the bridge, and she's talking to Hoshi about the translation process and how that's going. And Hoshi is taking every single comment that she makes as criticism. She just feels totally under attack because she's doubting on herself after the whole Cretacean thing.
Yeah.
So she's still in a mood, and T'Pol's pushy a little bit, I guess, but not overly so.
No.
Anyway, Hoshi says that she is she's having trouble because it's so mathematical, this language, and that she needs some help. And T'Pol says, well, maybe I can help.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the cargo bay, and the hostages are starting to know things about each other. So the Trip and some guy, they understand things about water polo that they never did before. So they're kind of reading Archer's mind.
Yeah.
Trip starts to panic and tries to like struggle out of the web, and Archer calms him down by talking about some sports game.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty good. He was talking about how, it was a close game and blah, blah, blah. And, the quote that he said that I wrote down because I thought it was good was, as soon as you give up, the game is lost.
Yeah.
And I thought that's a good one. That's going on our quotes. Instagram. But that helps Trip calm down. Like, if you give up, then you might as well just give up.
Yeah,
like,
giving up is giving up. Like, you are completely done if you give up. Yeah, whereas you have to keep going. You have to keep striving.
You have to believe there's a chance.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, so that was good. And then we cut to sickbay, and Phlox is reading. Reed enters with a device, and he wants to experiment on the life form to figure out how much EM pressure or force it can take before it dies. And there's a debate here between Reed and Phlox about the ethics of experimentation on life forms, which is a really interesting discussion and handled quite well, I thought.
Yeah, it was good.
Phlox absolutely refuses to let Reed do any experimentation, and that you can find out that same information without being invasive or harmful.
Yeah, without being a dick.
Yeah. And he pulls rank, basically. He says, this is my sick bay. I'm in charge in here.
Yeah. Because Reed tries it first.
Yes.
Reed was like, well, I
outrank you.
Yeah, I'm the ranking officer here. And he goes, not in my sick bay.
Nope.
He goes, not without direct order from the captain.
Yep.
Reed's like, captain's not here to make any decisions. And he goes, exactly. That's right. And you're
Precisely.
in my sick bay.
Yeah. So step off.
Yeah. It was good.
It was real good. Then we cut to the mess hall, and T'Pol and Hoshi are working on the translation. And this is where Hoshi says something about T'Pol being always so critical all the time and second guessing things that she does. And T'Pol basically says, that's my job. Like, my job is to check your work and to make sure that things are done properly.
Yeah, I'm the second officer. First officer, sorry.
First officer. And Hoshi says, but you just don't believe I belong here. And T'Pol says, that's absolutely incorrect. It would be a loss to Starfleet if you weren't here. And that she holds Hoshi to a higher standard because she's up to the challenge.
Yeah.
And that kind of emboldens Hoshi a little bit to get back to work and to be more conducive to working together.
Yeah. Hoshi needs that.
We cut to the bridge. Travis is basically alone on the bridge. And they finally get in touch with the Cretaceans. They say that they do know what the organism is that they're talking about, and they know where the homeworld for this organism is. But first, before you get that information, you need to apologize.
Yeah.
And Travis is like, we don't even know what we did to offend you. And they explain it, and it's because they eat in public.
Yeah.
And they only eat alone.
Yeah. Like mating.
That's it. Yep.
Like mating. You only mate
so
alone.
They mate alone?
They mate alone. Yes, apparently.
They mate alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, the Cretacean captain explains all that, and Travis apologizes, and it was a very sincere apology about all of Starfleet and humanity.
Yeah.
We, as a species, apologize to your whole race for the misunderstanding, and
I don't think it was quite that bad.
well, maybe not quite that dramatic.
But I do like that the species, the Cretaceans, that they were quite happy straight after, weren't they? Like they weren't like gonna hold it over them or anything. They were
No, they
just
didn't
like,
hold a grudge.
you know,
They're just like, yep, good.
yeah,
You've learned. Thank you for acknowledging it.
Yeah,
Let's move on.
yeah, it was good.
Yeah. We cut to the cargo bay. The crew that are hostages are starting to get more and more like covered in this web. And Trip and Archer is still awake, but everyone else is unconscious. We cut to the mess hall. And Paul and Hoshi have almost got an answer. They're finding some different bits that are matching up. So they think that they might be able to figure it out
pretty quickly
from here. Phlox calls and says, you better do whatever you're going to do soon because we're going to lose the first one, that Kelly. She's almost gone.
Yeah.
We cut to Reed in his, I don't know, armory, and he's figuring out the force field. And it's interesting that he's not an engineer and they're not in engineering, but they're working on what would be an engineering project.
Yeah.
To Paul calls and says, we need to go now, basically. But just as he's doing, just as she calls, he's fixed it. It's done. He's a genius.
Yeah.
He's an engineering genius.
Yeah. Marvel. Be in the history books.
Back from commercial, Trip and Archer are nearly covered. Trip is still awake, but Archer is now unconscious as well. Reed enters and he sets up the force field transmitters and activates, and oh my god, it works perfectly.
Yeah. Well, no,
He's a
one was out by 3.5 microns.
Yes, but then you fix that and then it worked perfectly.
Yeah.
So what a fucking marvel.
Yeah.
Phlox, Hoshi, and T'Pol have got the universal translator. Phlox is monitoring life signs. They enter, they're behind the force field, and Hoshi creates this tone and creates distortions in that tone to try and communicate with the life form.
I like how Reed's like the dumbest guy, yet he can do shit like that. Like, I just don't
He's
get
a
it. Like, you know, because he's an idiot. Because Hoshi like plays the tone to communicate, and he's like, it just sounds like a simple tone. It's like, shut the fuck up. You don't know what it is, so why are you even commenting? You know, and he does it all the time on everything that happens. He's like, oh, that's just a simple tone. Well, what the fuck? How about you wait a second and actually see what's going to happen?
Yep. I don't disagree. So Hoshi keeps making beeps, and eventually the life form starts responding with this screechy, beepy noise. And Hoshi asks what it wants, and it says it wants to go home, and she says that we're taking you home, and it gives it specific. It gives them specific coordinates on the planet to take it to. And then it lowers and releases all the hostages, and they're all fine and back to normal, and it's really gross.
Yep.
And then we cut to the Enterprise approaching the planet. They launch a shuttle. T'Pol and Hoshi, Phlox and Reed have all gone down to the planet. They have a big box thing there. And they open up the box, and the life form exits the box and rejoins the collective. Or the Great Link. Or
yeah, that's it. Like,
whichever, if you want to use the Changelings or the Borg, whatever, whichever one you want to say. Rejoins the collective.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
then Phlox also releases the severed tendril that he had in sickbay, and it also rejoins. And they make some comments about how it's one organism. It's not.
Yeah, it's not.
They're not individuals.
Yeah.
It's all just one. So very changeling, very Borg.
Yeah.
And then the shuttle takes off, and we wrap up. That's it. The end.
Yeah. Could have been the start of the Changelings.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Wrong quadrant, but sure.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Now that we talked through it, final thoughts. What do you think? Tell me everything.
Well, it was a good episode. It was really enjoyable. Like I said before, it's the trying to communicate with the new aliens always an interesting story. Like, I really like that. And just the people interaction as well was really good. It's good when the crew have to try and communicate with each other as well. Like, it's a good one.
Yep.
I don't like the Reed stuff. Like, that is just dumb.
You don't think he should be the Space MacGyver?
Not at all.
Men
And
neither.
like you were saying, he's not an engineer either. Like, it would almost make more sense for Trip to be the one that's the Space MacGyver.
If Trip had figured it out, I'd probably believe it.
Yeah, that's right.
I just don't believe that Reed would have done it.
No, exactly. And I also actually liked that. Who was the guy on the bridge?
Travis.
Yeah, I also actually liked the fact that Travis was on the bridge doing some communication with the other species and was left on the ship alone, on the bridge alone, to do that. And I think he handled that quite well, and I actually liked that. So that was good too. So I
Everyone
really
had something
liked
to do in this episode.
Yeah, that's right. Like, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
Yeah. Good.
And flocks and stuff too. That was all really
Yeah.
awesome.
All right, life lesson for this one? Don't jump to conclusions.
Well, yeah, that's probably it, really.
Treat every life form with respect.
Yeah, treat everyone with respect and try to understand. Try to understand, because you've got it on both fronts with the other aliens as well.
Yeah.
So, try to communicate better.
Yes.
Yeah. Communication, understanding.
Easy. Good. All right, IMDb rating for this one. For those listening at home, our examples of 1 episodes are Voyager's Threshold and Next Gen's Code of Honor. Examples of 10 episodes are Next Gen's Tapestry and Deep Space Nine's Far Beyond the Stars. With that in mind, what are we going to rate Vox Sola?
I think last week I gave it a high number for last week's too, which was...
Last week was Detained and we gave it an 8.
Right? Yeah. And I think this one would be sitting about the same. I'd be happy with an 8 on this one as well. I actually quite like this. So I'd be happy somewhere around an 8.
Okay. Yep. I'm happy with an 8 too. I thought it was a pretty good episode.
Yeah. Other than the Glad Wrap monster, but it's Star Trek. So, I mean, if you can't handle Glad Wrap and Bubble Wrap monsters, you shouldn't be watching.
You're watching the wrong franchise. Oh, dear. Yep. Makes sense to me. Cool. All right. That's it for this week then.
Yeah. Excellent.
Excellent. Okay. You can find us on Facebook at Temporal Directive Podcast and on Instagram, just Temporal Directive, or you can email us at wakefield_productions@outlook.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode or anything Trek related. We love talking about Star Trek, so please join the conversation. We'd love to hear from you. And we'll be back next week with the episode Fallen Hero. Live long and prosper.
Peace and long life.